Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a speed build and it is a witch's cottage. Now this should have been out actually a few days ago for Halloween, but things got in the way and I just didn't get it edited in time for Halloween itself. But nevertheless, it is here and I love it. It is a build I've done before. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this build before. I will include a photograph of the real life house that inspired this cottage. It's super cute and I thought it would just be perfect for a witch to live in. It has two bedrooms. It has a main bedroom and then a second smaller room, which could be a second bedroom, but I have the potion set thing from Supernatural in there at the moment. The kind of like Cauldron and cookbook type thing that you get with Supernatural is in the second bedroom at the moment. But you could take all that out and make it a second bedroom if you wish. It is a really kind of small build, but it would be perfect for maybe a single sim and a child or a toddler, or maybe at a push two sims, like if you wanted to have two young witches live here or something like that. You could rejig the upstairs floor plan and make the rooms different sizes if you wish. If that would be easier for you, you're more than welcome to do that with the build if you like. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this build came out. It is something a little bit different. Obviously I don't play with Supernatural Sims, as I said in my previous video, but I do like the sort of supernatural vibe, if that makes any sense at all. To give you all a bit of a kind of insight into my gameplay, I don't actually play The Sims, if that makes any sense at all. I just like to build the houses and create the Sims and then let you guys play with them. So I don't actually do gameplay in that aspect. So as much as I don't play with the Sims that I make, I do enjoy making them and I do enjoy the supernatural kind of side of the Sims. But like I say, I just don't, the very rare occasion that I do play Sims, I don't play with the occult Sims. But anyway, we are on to the landscaping and I am putting in the fencing now, I believe. We go through a couple of different options here with this, but in the end I take one of the base game fences and it's actually like a brick wall type thing, and I just recolor that to kind of blend in with the kind of decor of the outside of the house, which I went for a kind of like dark sort of spooky old kind of color scheme with this one, just because I thought, you know, Halloween witchy, you know, I know you get kind of sort of good witches, if that makes any sense, but I wanted this one to be a little bit more dark and kind of mysterious, if you like. So we went with a kind of darker color scheme for this build, which is just something a little bit different, you know, like to mix it up a bit. And getting in some landscaping plants here. And again, I went for like really dark colours, some purples, dark greens, dark browns, and then picking out a path. I went through like every option of path I had in my terrain paints until I found this one, and I just thought that was perfect. It was kind of like old cobblestone, so I thought that went really well. And then putting in some shadow terrain paint underneath the brambles there. And then I think I put in, at this point, I put in the water wheel from, I want to say the old mill brunch set from the store. I think that's where that's from, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, I put the water wheel into this build because it kind of made me think of the Sanderson sisters' house in Hocus Pocus, and they have a water wheel outside of their house, and it just kind of made me think, ooh, old-fashioned kind of witchy, you know, based off of that. So I decided to put it into this build, but it absolutely doesn't matter if you don't have this piece, it will just replace with something else and you can delete it if it's not anything that it replaces with that's useful. I know sometimes when the game does that, it gives you something totally random, so it'll replace the water wheel with like a sofa. So, you know, it's not required for the build. You don't absolutely have to have it, but I just thought it was a nice little decor item to have there. And now we're putting in some trees, and I went for like these kind of dead looking wilted old trees. I think the one on the left side of the house, I think that came with Supernatural, and then obviously these are the haunted spruce trees or juniper trees or whatever they are, and then the oak moss tree I think it's called as well. And I just thought they gave it a kind of like spooky vibe. And now we are on to the interior floor plan, I think. Just popping in some lighting. I did actually use actual lights this time. I didn't use the debug lighting like I normally do because I did actually want this one to be a little bit dark. I wasn't, you know, back then I wouldn't have expected there to be electricity in a witch's cottage because it was so long ago, I guess. So I did use the candle light fittings there, just to add a bit more realism. And I popped in this little spiral staircase, which is super cute. And then I think we just furnished the downstairs first this time rather than jumping between the two. So the closed off room there that you see is actually the kitchen, and then the living room is open plan. Just deleting the fire chimney column thing there. And popping in this, it's actually a fireplace, but it looks like a cauldron, because obviously I wouldn't expect them to have had like stoves or whatever. So I popped in this kind of cauldron fireplace looking thing in the kitchen there. I did kind of struggle a little bit with a sink, because again I wouldn't have thought they would have had like actual sinks and stuff, like plumbing, but I just go with a kind of oldish looking sink and pop it in the corner there. I mean, it is The Sims, so, you know, we can have a little bit of rule exception, I guess. And now I'm just filling up the kitchen with some clutter items. I had a little bit of trouble with that. I just did not want to go where I wanted it to go, but we get there in the end. And then finally move on to recoloring everything in here. This is my favourite room of the build. I really do love how the kitchen turned out. I think it just has such a kind of witchy vibe. I mean, the whole house does it. It's a witch's house, but especially this room, I just love it. And there is still space for a sim to cook if you want to use this house for gameplay. You can obviously remove all the objects on the counter if they are in your way, but I just liked to clutter it up a bit and make it look a bit lived in and a bit shabby. And I think I'm just popping in some more, just some more clutter items there for the counter. And I do put a shelf above the counter here with some like knickknacks on it. I think there's like some poison bottles and just witchy stuff that you would maybe find in a witch's kitchen. And then I go on and recolour the counters and the fridge. The fridge, you'll see to the left, it's not like a normal refrigerator, because again I wouldn't have expected them to have had something like that all those hundreds of years ago. So it looks more like a kind of pantry shelf thing, I guess, which I thought was more appropriate for the build. It does actually function like a normal fridge, so it completely works. But yeah, I just thought it looked a bit better than like an actual electric fridge. And now we're recolouring the chimney in here. I keep calling it a chimney. It's not a chimney, it's a fireplace / cauldron thing. I don't actually know if you can cook on this. I didn't play test it, so I'm really sorry if it doesn't actually work, but I thought for the aesthetic, at least for photos, it looks pretty cool. So I went with that for that reason. I think we just chucked down a rug in here and then we were pretty much done and onto the dining area. I do really love how this area turns out as well. I just put in dining table, I think I used this dining table in my last, not my last build, but the build before, and I really, really love it. Just getting in some chairs. It took me a while to find the kind of chairs I wanted to go with, but I settled for this. You'll see that it's at the table at the moment, that chair there, I go with that. And I just thought it kind of looked a bit more old-fashioned, but not like too old-fashioned, if that makes sense. And I just recolored it to kind of have a florally pattern on, which I felt went with this build really well. And now just recoloring the dining table to make it look a bit kind of worn. And I put some candles on there. I'm not actually sure if those are just decor or if you can actually use them as a light, like a lamp. But I thought they looked kind of good on the table there. And now we're on to the kind of living area. And I popped in the broom stand from Supernatural as well. And this broom that I'm putting on just now is decor, but then I do go in and add an actual real broom onto the stand as well, which I thought looked kind of cool. Getting in some magic wands there, because you know your witches need wands, and some potion bottles. And there are tons of books in this house. I just thought that a witch would have like a gazillion spell books, so they are literally littered all about this house. So I'm sorry if that's super annoying for you. Popping in some curtains, and I went with the curtains that I used in my Pacer Place renovation. I just thought they would fit this build really well as well. They're kind of like old-fashioned looking. And now we are on to the sofas, and I go with like it looks almost kind of like a Chesterfield type-ish sofa. Not one I've used before, but I thought again it looked really kind of good for this build. A bit more sort of worn looking, but not like needing the bin worn. And I go with a wooden armchair as well, just there in the corner, and I pop a cat decorative item, but it's a cat. It serves no purpose other than for decor, but I thought it looked kind of cute because I didn't want to go and make a whole sim just to move in to get a pet to sit for a photograph. So I just popped in this little decor cat there, and I put it on the armchair in a minute. But it's super, super cute. But yeah, if you want to be able to sit in the chair and whatnot, you'll have to get rid of it because your sim will stamp his or her feet and just won't sit down. So you will need to move the cat. But you can easily replace that with a real cat if you want. And I'm popping in this kind of shelf thing here behind the dining table. I don't think it is an actual functional bookcase, but I thought it looked better than what I had there originally. It's got like potion books on it, potion bottles, things like that all over it. So I thought that was way more perfect than what I had before. But there are bookshelves in this build that are functional if you want them as well. And I'm putting in a little bird cage there behind the armchair with a crow in it, which again is completely decorative. It doesn't do anything, but I just thought it added to the kind of witchiness. And I'm trying to recolor this cat, but it didn't work, so we go with the one that's on the chair, which isn't the one I wanted, but never mind. We got there in the end. It looks good for photos, and that's all it was really for, so I'm quite happy. So what did you guys do for Halloween? Did you go out? Were you allowed to go out with the current restrictions? What was going on in your area? It was very, very quiet where I'm from. We are in a kind of, not a full lockdown, but you know, we're not allowed to kind of go around other people's houses and things like that. So it was very, very quiet, but a lot of the kind of schools locally were doing a neighbourhood thing where you could decorate the front of your house and the children could come round and go around and see all the different decorations and then vote for the house that they thought was the nicest decorated. So it was a bit of fun for them so that they could actually still go out and do something rather than just staying at home. But it's a lot of older people that live round nearby me, so unfortunately there wasn't a huge amount for them to see, but there was a good few houses that were really well done, so it was nice, but very quiet. I'm now just putting some little knickknacks on this shelf here behind the sofa. which I thought was really fitting for this. Again, all those objects are just totally decorative. They don't do anything. Now we're moving on to the upstairs of the house, and like I said, there is a full-sized bedroom, which is actually a bit bigger than it probably needs to be, and then there is the smaller room at the back of the house, which could be turned into a bedroom if you want, but like I said at the beginning, I put the Cauldron thingy set from Supernatural in there. I wasn't really sure if the sim I had in mind for this house would have maybe not had a kid or not. I don't really know what I was thinking, to be honest. So I thought that would have been like the next best use for the space. I did make the bathroom a little bit smaller just to make that second room a little bit bigger, and it is a pretty straightforward, simple bathroom. There's not a lot going on in here. There is a bathtub, a sink and a toilet. That's it really. I was kind of struggling with the bathroom a little bit just because I was kind of finding it hard to imagine what a house of this kind of age, like when it was supposed to have been built, would have had bathroom wise. They probably wouldn't have had plumbing or anything like that, but then I gave myself a shake and I was like, come on, it's The Sims, you know, you've got a bit of leeway there. So I just put in a kind of like older looking bathroom suite and a couple of little decor knickknacks and just left it at that. It is what it is. It's a bathroom really. Not a lot to say about it, to be honest. Yeah, so just putting in some decorative things there. Get a mirror above the sink, hand towel, toilet roll, that kind of thing. And then I think I just go and put a painting over the bath and call it a day for this room. I tried to use the paintings and wall decorations from Supernatural because I never used them, and I just thought obviously this would be the best kind of time to use them. And now we're on to the little hallway at the top of the stairs, and I put in a bookshelf and a chair and a floor lamp, I believe. The bookshelf at the top of the stairs here is functional. I know the ones downstairs are just for decoration, but your sim can actually use the one up here, and I think I put another couple in the room with the potion set as well. I think those are also functional. And now we're on to the master, or the main bedroom if you like, and it is just a very simple bedroom. I just popped in the bed and a couple of side tables and a dressing table, I believe. But I think we momentarily jump into the other room in just a second. Yeah, there goes the potion set. And I think at first I put down the same bookshelf that's downstairs, but then I switch it up to bigger ones that look a bit fancier for this kind of room. They just go a little bit better, I think, with the kind of theme. They look a bit more witchy. And now we're back to the bedroom, and then putting down the side tables, recolouring them to match the bed, and then popping a couple of lamps down. Super simple. I've kind of got it in my head, like bedrooms are like the most personal room in a house, so I kind of didn't want to go like hog wild with it. I just wanted to put in the basics, and then you guys can decorate more personally towards the sim that you want to live here. I think that's kind of the best way to do it, rather than me going all out and putting down a heap of stuff that you're going to want to change up or isn't going to be to your sim's taste. And I put in this kind of creepy skull thing, deer head above the bed there, which I thought was pretty cool. And then put down the dressing table here as well. I don't actually know if this kind of works the same as a dresser and your sims can get changed here and stuff, or if it is just for like decoration. I'm not too sure about that one, but you will need to move the chair if you do want to use it or try and use it, because I used move objects, so they'll kind of stand there and look at you like you're stupid if you don't move the chair. And I think I just put in another couple of little decorative items here. Sorry if you can hear my dog jumping around. He's just got up here beside me. He loves the attention. Yeah, I think I put in another couple of objects here. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave you guys here with the screenshots. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!